Hello guys and welcome back to the first race of Division 2 for Season 2 of the Oceania Racing League. We're here at Melbourne and we got sunny conditions for today's race. Everyone's very excited to race today because we've been waiting a long time for this after the season break. And we had a bit of a delay in the beginning, but eventually we got there and we're getting the race underway. So we got short quali, 18 minutes, followed by a 50% race. I'll just get this all sorted. Put the track map on. Alright, so let's follow the driver at the front. I believe that is Gordo. Yep, Gordo's leading the pack out for quali. We've got quite a few new drivers here who've joined us for Season 2. But we do have quite a few previous returning drivers, some notable ones being J-Man, Gordo, Lindsay Games, F1 Twitch, Chunk ORL. They've all been with us for a while, so it'll be exciting to see how they perform against the other new drivers. The last time we raced at this circuit was for the first round of Season 1, but I know people have been practicing getting their setups right and doing time trials, so they probably have improved since the last time. So as we ride on board with Gordo AU coming around the final corner, he's now going to start his first flying lap. You won't want to push it too hard because you don't want to crash out on the first flying lap, but you still want to set a decent time. There's a beautiful first corner, making use of all the track there, DRS wide open coming down into this long braking zone. Let's see where he can put his Haas car at the end of this lap. His teammate Lex Dog, I'm not sure how good he is, but let's see if we performed too well in Season 1 if you looked at the constructor standings. Now with the time changes, some drivers had to change to Division 1. So someone for driving the wrong way. So he won't be able to set a quali lap, as Gordo set a very clean lap here. Goes a bit straight, DRS wide open. There's yellow flags up ahead. I think that's just the driver going slowly. Well, it could be the disqualified car of TD Morris, I think it is, but luckily he hasn't blocked anyone. So 119.5 for Gordo. Chunk goes 120.2, which is 7/10 slower. So that is a pretty decent lap from Gordo we've seen, especially for a first lap of qualifying. TD Morris's car has just despawned, which is good, so that won't cause any more chaos. Meanwhile, a bunch of other drivers setting their lap times. RBE, Peridin, a 121.2. MX has set a 121.7, followed by F1 Twitch and the Aston Martin. So we've got 7 drivers who have set their times so far. Meanwhile, Iceland Rhino going a bit wide there and spinning. By the looks of it, he doesn't have front wing damage, but I'm not sure. Pretty sure that was a flying lap for him, so he'll have to go again. As a Red Bull passes him, I think that's Nuke. Yes, it is. Is Nuke on a... Yeah, he isn't on a flying lap, so we'll ride on board with Nuke as he goes on his first flying lap of the session. Hasn't set a time yet. Goes a bit wide, then he completely loses it, and that should be damage on Nuke's car. He went really wide on that high-speed right-hander and he lost it. It's really easy to lose the car on that high-speed right-hander, so you got to be careful going through those types of corners, especially the high-speed chicane that's just ahead here. Meanwhile, MX has just set the fastest lap of the session in the Red Bull. Red Bull looking very strong today, especially in MX's car there. Nuko C just needs to set a bit today and give themselves a jump for points in the constructors. It's a 119.3 MX set, which is around 2 to 3 tenths faster than Gordo. J-Man's gone third in with a 119.8. So probably around 119s, probably 118s, maybe possibly we could get into near the end of the session. It's pretty similar to what we had in round 1 of season 1, so drivers probably a bit rusty coming back to this track, but in the race as the laps go by they'll get back into the flow of the Melbourne circuit. Let's see who else is going to set a final lap. Let's see who's coming out of the garage. Let's go to this Haas here. There we are. Lex Dog, who is on an outlap, will ride on board with him, who hasn't set a lap yet. Let's see if he can get anywhere near to his teammate Gordo's lap, near the front of the grid. We'll just ride on board with him for his outlap, as you can see him weaving to warm up his tyres. Does look like he's using a wheel by the look of his movement, so that is a slight advantage over the control players, but we will see if that advantage really pays off. Going a bit wide there in that last corner, that could have been costly if he had lost it, but luckily he keeps it together and hasn't invalidated the beginning of his lap. Coming around the first corner, takes it nice and easy, like Gordo did, making full use of the exit there, as he comes down into the long braking zone of turn 3. We got yellow flags in sector 2 that looked like a McLaren and an Aston Martin, maybe one of them just going a bit slow. Meanwhile, Lex Dog coming around this high speed right-hander there, loses it, goes onto the grass just like the driver before did, and that has stuffed up his qualifying lap, but he will probably continue it if he wants to set a time, or he might just come to the pits for a new set of tyres, because those tyres are likely ruined because he did go onto the grass there. I signed Rhino, that's a surprising lap from him. You'd think he'd be going a bit faster than that, but it is a 128, so he has he stuffed up somewhere on that lap, but he is on a flying lap at the moment. Let's see where I signed Rhino puts his car, probably near the front of the grid. I know he's a strong driver. Coming down the main straight, DRS wide open. Let's see where he puts his Alpine. 128.7. Oh no, sorry, that must have been his outlap, because the telemetry has just started now for his flying lap. Meanwhile, we have yellow flags. That's a Haas. Could be Gordo. No. Yeah, that looks to be Lex Dog. Let's see if he blocks his teammate behind. And they've hit each other. Oh no. I could just see that happening. Gordo was coming up behind. And I was like, surely the teammates don't collide. Lex Dog's gotten a 5-place grid penalty for colliding with Gordo. Gordo will probably be furious at his teammate. Let's see if Gordo has damage. By the looks of it, no. So Gordo will be continuing this qualifying. Meanwhile, there's another driver spinning out there. That is an AlphaTauri. Could be RB Peridon, who just spun out there on the final corner. Not sure what happened to him. Easy Max still holding on to the lead here with a 118.3. I think he is on another fine lap. Meanwhile, the Red Bull going slow ahead. Hopefully he doesn't block the McLaren's fine lap. No, the McLaren is just on an out lap, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see if Easy Mac can improve his time. He's already gone a second faster than MX. So what a lap we've seen from that McLaren driver. He is on around 5% ERS now, so he might need to go back into the pits to just recharge, to give him that extra edge over the other drivers. Let's see who else we can follow with. Trunk ORL, let's see if he can improve. He's only set one fine lap so far. Coming around the final few corners now in the last sector. Let's see if he can improve. He's the only Alfa Romeo driver running right now, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. But Pro Gamer getting disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. And I don't think that's Trunk improving. Or that might have just been his outlap. It's really hard to tell with the F1's timings up in the top right there, because usually it will let you know if it's an outlap. That hasn't really been the case today. So let's ride on board with Trunk. Let's make sure that Haas ahead moves away. If it's Lex Dog hasn't had a good history of moving out the way, but he's got a bit nearly lost the car there while Chunk tried to go past the Haas, but nevertheless, Chunk is still trying to finish his flying lap here, coming down this long straight into the high-speed left-hander. It's a really nice turn to ride on board with if you can get it right. Nearly lost the car there, you had to just move, catch the car so it didn't spin out there, which would have lost him some time. Coming down the main straight into that long braking zone, his tyres just hit the grass there on the edge, and that would have stuffed up his braking, so would have lost some time there as well. It's not the best lap we're seeing from Chunk, but let's see if he improves from his previous lap. So 120.2 he's trying to beat. Let's see where he puts the car coming down the main straight. What does he go? He goes 5th. That's actually a decent lap, but there's a big room for improvement there, but that's a 119.2, around a second slower than P1. Look at McLaren here, P4 and P1. If they can keep this momentum going during the race, they could really score some good points for McLaren. I do believe that is Lindsay Games coming for a flying lap, so let's see if Lindsay Games can move that McLaren even higher. Lindsay Games' back light was flashing there, so I thought he'd run out of ERS, but at the bottom it says 70%, so he's still going strong. DRS wide open, meanwhile we've got yellow flags. That is a Ferrari, I think. J-Man, no, that is an AlphaTauri. RB Paradin, who's already spun out before, he's just lost it there. But that does appear to be his outlap, so I'm not sure what happened there. Let's go back to Lindsay. He's coming around the final corners now. It's already a 123, so he's definitely not improving, as you can see him coming into the pits. So not improving there, but he can likely get another lap in, because there's still 5 minutes left in qualifying. We've got 2 drivers disqualified at the moment. MX, let's see where MX is on his outlap right now. He had provisional pole just before, in the beginning of the qualifying session, but he's now down in 6th, so let's see if he can improve. Meanwhile, we're getting more yellow flags coming out. You can see all the drivers between Iceland Rhino and P3 and MX, they're all separated by a couple of tenths, so it is really tight there at the top of the grid. I think that was DX Mond just moving his car higher up. Or no, that must have been another driver, because Iceland Rhino just moved down to P4. That could have been J-Man, I think. I think J-Man just moved up to P2. But let's ride on board with MX as he comes for his flying lap. Could be his second flying lap, or his third. There's lots of drivers. If you look on the track map, all cramped in the top left corner of that circuit there. Possible collision. But let's stay on board with MX here. He comes for his flying lap down into turn 1. He goes very wide there, but hasn't invalidated his lap, so he continues. Let's see if he can improve near the end of this lap. Coming down, hits the apex, good exit. Coming up to the high-speed right-hander can be very tricky to get, as we saw a couple of drivers spinning out before. He gets that spot on. That can also be a tricky corner, but you can gain a lot of time there if you get it right, so he's done that perfectly. So far looking like a good lap apart from that first corner. Coming into the high-speed left-hander here, one of my favourite corners in the whole game. Let's see how he does here. Going a bit slower than most of the drivers through there, and he does go wide. Hasn't invalidated, but would have lost a bunch of time. So I don't know if he's... Maybe he's given up on his lap. Not sure, but we'll just stick on board with him and see if he dives into the pits or not. Easy Mac improving his lap once again with a 118.0. What a lap from him. J-Man is only 6 tenths behind now, so that gap is definitely closing between P1 and the rest of the drivers. There's only 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the session now, so let's see if all the drivers in the pits, J-Man, DX Mond and Iceland Rhino, can come out for another lap. Chunk RL, I think he's on a flying lap at the moment. Goes onto the grass like last time before, that would have stopped up his braking. Let's see if he can improve on his 119.2. Down the main straight, DRS wide open. It is in the 130s. Oh no, sorry, my bad. It is a 119.2. He's set. So that is a decent lap from Chunk, but I don't think he improved. I don't think he jumped any of the other drivers in the qualifying grid. Let's see who else we can ride on board with as they come. Let's just stick with all the cars coming around the final corners now, and let's see where they improve. Gordo, 33 1,000ths faster than his previous lap with a 119.5. It's a pretty decent lap, but he's still in 8th. That just shows the level of times we're getting here. Lots of drivers setting really nice times. There's an AlphaTauri coming around the final corner. That is RB Peridin, who is going into the pits. There's also McLaren, who is Easy Mac, who I believe Easy Mac is starting a flying lap now. Yeah, so Easy Mac will be starting a flying lap now. Maybe he can extend his lead even more. J-Man coming out of the pits, maybe. No, I don't think he'll have enough time. Some other drivers coming around the final few corners now. What is Lindsay Gaines doing? Maybe Lindsay Gaines has spun on that final corner. I just saw Lindsay stopping on the map and doing donuts, but maybe he was just trying to correct his car after spinning. Alfa Romeo coming around the final corner. That is Chunk, who has gone fast, as you can see in the timings in the top right. He has gone fast in that final sector. Let's see where he puts his car. He's still gone slower. That might have... Sorry, he might be starting his final lap now. Let's ride on board with Chunk and let's see if he can improve. Coming down into the long braking zone. Gets that braking nice. Hits the apex. Good exit. Making full use of the track there. We've got a bunch of chaos going on up here with all these drivers. I'm not sure what is going on. If you look on the track map, they're all really close together. There's MX coming around. I do believe MX is on a flying lap, so let's see where MX puts his car coming down the main straight. Currently a P7 with a 119.3. How much does he improve? He goes into second. What a lap from MX. 8/10 faster than his previous, but still 5/10 slower than Easy Mac. Easy Mac has really put in a good lap there. We've got both McLarens in the final sector there. I think they're both going to be starting their flying laps now. Or that could be Lindsay Gaines' flying lap that he's just finishing there. But the session has finished and the countdown has started, so let's see all the drivers coming around the final few corners now. We've got an Alfa Romeo, I think that's Chunk. Let's see if Chunk improves. No, he doesn't. Let's keep on going back to the Aston Martin. Temp, let's see if Temp improves. A 119.9, he stays with that timing. That's an Alpine coming around the final corner. Let's see where Ice on Rhino picks his car. He's gone 3/10 faster in that final sector. Let's see where he goes. He jumps one place up above DX Mond into 4th with a 118.9. That's a pretty decent lap from Ice on Rhino. So as you can look at the timings, it's been a pretty good day for McLaren. MX has really pushed his car hard there to put that Red Bull up in the high positions for the grid and the race start. And Australia isn't the easiest circuit to get overtakes done, so qualifying is a pretty crucial stage in this racing weekend. But regardless of that, there is still a few main straights that you can get overtakes done down into. As we review the timings here, MX did have a 5-place grid penalty. I think I just saw that there. But yeah, 5 positions for MX, RB, Peridin, and Lex Dog. So 5/10 between P1 and P2. That is a pretty nice lap from Easy Mac there. You can take a look at the timings for yourself there. The 2 drivers at the bottom got disqualified, so they're starting at the back. Our slowest lap today was 121.8 by F1 Twitch, I believe. All the drivers are loading in their strategies at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how strategy plays out in today's race. The expected weather is just sunny skies, so there's going to be no weather strategy coming into play today. Most drivers, I'm expecting them to start on the softs or mediums, going soft to medium maybe, or the opposite. Generally, you want to start on the faster tyre to give you that edge over the other drivers on lap 1. I don't think we're having a formation lap. I think we're just getting straight into it, maybe. Yes, we are. It's lights out and away we go. Easy Mac getting off the grid, but that's J-Man jumping into the lead right off the bat. J-Man into the lead, going into turn 1. The Williams down the inside there. The Alpine following close behind. The McLaren goes wide there. I can see an Alfa Romeo going wide at the back as well. J-Man has gotten that start beautifully done. The Williams in P3 at the moment of DX1. That's the McLaren locking up, going wide. That is Easy Mac going wide into the gravel there. That puts DX Mond into P2. Lindsay Gaines getting a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. The Red Bull is very close behind the Williams there, but the Williams positioning that car very nicely. They touch a little there. As MX goes into the back of DX Mond, you can see the Alpine of Isan Rhino following close behind. A little gap has formed between Isan Rhino and Nuco C as we go into the high-speed left-hander. That's the Red Bull cutting that corner, of MX cutting that corner quite considerably. Not sure what he's doing there. But as they go side by side into that braking zone, MX gets the move done on the Williams car. And he puts himself back up into P2. J-Man has held on to that lead through the first lap. What a start was seen from him. Let's go to our tyres. Most drivers starting on the mediums. Surprisingly, MX is on those softs. Let's see if he can get past J-Man here. Let's see if those softs help him in doing so. J-Man setting the fastest lap. Going wide there, that's the Red Bull going wide. MX has gone deep into turn 1. And we got the Alpine of Ice and Rhino following DX Mond closely behind. Let's put our timings on the intervals so we can see the battles that are going on so far. I don't think any drivers went in the pit so far, so no damage on lap 1. Let's look at position changes actually. As MX goes side by side with J-Man, I was just trying to fiddle around with my settings there. MX has gone into the lead, into that high-speed left-hander. What a move by MX. J-Man will be looking to get that position back. Can he send it into this next corner? No, he can't, but he'll be following close behind. MX has moved up 6 positions since the start. What a start we've seen by MX. He did get a bit wobbly going into the... and that's the Williams spinning out behind DX. Mond has just spun out, but he maintains P4. Can J-Man? J-Man's falling a bit back behind the Red Bull of MX. We got F1 Twitch falling close behind the AlphaTauri there. The AlphaTauri has been ghosted. MX sets the fastest lap as well. Race Control has just said that DRS has been enabled, so that will allow some drivers to overtake easier. Easy Mac following closely behind that Williams who just spun out before, who will be putting DX Mond under pressure. We got yellow flags out. That is a Ferrari, I believe, of TD Morris, who spun out there. As we go back to Easy Mac following DX Mond. With the DRS, will he be able to get past? We'll just have to find out. He's not using his overtake button, surprisingly, but he does have that slipstream, and you can see it working perfectly there. He's gaining time. Will they go side by side into this high-speed chicane here? Yes, no, it looked like the McLaren was faking it there. I thought they were going to go side by side, but the McLaren just stays behind. It's the McLaren's just right next to each other at the moment, as Easy Mac tries to send it into that corner, but isn't successful in doing so. Lindsay Gaines is just trying to... Oh, that's a Ferrari spinning out there. I think that's TD Morris again. As we jump back up to the top of the grid with Isan Rhino following close behind J-Man. He's still maintaining that podium position there. as Easy Mac goes side by side with the Williams into turn 1. The Williams stays ahead, positioning his car beautifully, trying to defend that position, and they make contact. The Williams spinning out, the McLaren of Lindsay Games also spinning out. I think Easy Mac got the better of that situation there, but his teammate won't be happy at all. Lindsay Games dropping back into 6th place. Maybe that is some damage for either of them, I'm not too sure. Lindsay Games has gotten a penalty as well. Let's see how much that penalty is. 3 seconds for Lindsay Games. That was on lap 1 with that, with the corner cutting. So he will have to work hard if he wants to still maintain the points with that penalty. Let's see what other battles we have going on here. Ice and Rhino pretty close behind J-Man. He has DRS here, and I don't believe J-Man has DRS. Will he send it into this corner? No, he doesn't. Plays it wise to stay behind and wait till he gets a better chance to overtake. Will he get past in this main straight? We'll just ride on board with Ice and Rhino in the Alpine. As we got yellow flags, that does seem to be a Haas. I believe it is Gordo or Lexdog. Ice and Rhino doesn't seem to be close enough to make any moves into turn 1, but there is another DRS straight just up here, so he will be getting DRS again. J-Man just needs to either build that gap to Ice and Rhino to over 1 second, or close the gap to MX so he can have DRS as well, because that will make it a lot harder for Ice and Rhino to get that move done. DX Mond is falling closely behind Lindsay Games as well. They both spun out before, so you don't know if there's, a bit of beef between them at the moment, but we'll find out if they ever get close enough to each other to try and make some moves. That's a Haas spinning out there. I think that is Gordo. No, that is Lexdog who spun out there, that corner. Don't think there's any damage though, as you can see on his front wing. And we got more yellow flags. That is a Ferrari spinning out. And Ice and Rhino getting past J-Man, as I was talking about before, side by side into that braking zone. J-Man just squeezing Ice and Rhino a bit wide there, but J-Man maintains P2. But Ice and Rhino is incredibly close behind. Will he get anything done down this main straight? As we go on board with Ice and Rhino, he's got Easy Mac behind him, but there's a decent gap there, so he won't have to worry about that McLaren. Into turn 1, Ice and Rhino can't really make any moves there because he's too far back. MX has just set a fastest lap of the race, increasing his lead over J-Man, but that gap between J-Man, it was in the 2 seconds before, now it's down to 1.4, so maybe J-Man can get that DRS and stop Ice and Rhino getting past them. Ice and Rhino, if he wants any chance of getting past J-Man, he needs to do it before J-Man gets the DRS of the Red Bull car ahead. Oh, that's Lindsay Games spinning out there. I was just about to flick back to DX Mond. DX Mond has also spun out. There must have been contact between them. I could see they were driving very closely behind each other. So I flicked back to them and they had both just spun out. Ice and Rhino still very close behind J-Man in the Ferrari. Will he make a move into the next corner? He's got the speed advantage. They're weaving all over the main straight there, trying to play it defensive. J-Man there in the Ferrari. That could have been very costly for the Alpine if they had made a contact, but they stay as they are, P2 and P3. Easy Mac and McLaren is taking advantage of this battle ahead, trying to gain some time. There's a Red Bull spinning out there. I do believe that could be MX. No, it's not. That is Nuco C who spun out there. The top 4 cars are extremely close, as you could see by that camera shot there. This is a very exciting battle we have going on between the 4 of them. J-Man does have DRS now. Easy Mac does have DRS as well. Will he make a move into this corner? No, he doesn't. So P2, P3 and P4 will all have DRS on these main straights. MX will be disadvantaged though, with no DRS. Maybe J-Man can make a move for the lead. He's very close behind. There's no DRS on this straight, so he'll have to wait for the next DRS straight if he wants to have that speed advantage. But there is a slipstream and there is the DRS, so he could still get something done. They're very close behind. J-Man nearing the Red Bull of MX. So close behind, going into that high speed left-hander. MX cuts the corner there, but no time penalty for him. The McLaren's going side by side with the Alpine. The McLaren getting the move done, and they nearly make contact. J-Man into the lead, McLaren into P2. Red Bull holding on to that P2 there, but J-Man has taken the lead. What a move by J-Man. There's the Red Bull there, down in P2 now. And Iceland Rhino still maintaining P3. Now it's the Alpine's turn next to get past MX. But MX will have DRS on the Ferrari, but he's too far back to make any moves. As you can see, the Alpine going around the outside into turn 1. He's got that move done. And MX is now down into P3. What a disaster for him. He's gone from P1 to P3 in the span of a lap. Can he make anything into this next corner? No, he can't. The Alpine just braking a little later there to not get dive bombed down the inside. J-Man will be very pleased with himself because he has taken the lead back from MX. Iceland Rhino's into P2. He was in P3 before, but now he's into P2, so he'll be happy with his performance so far. It'll be interesting to see when all the drivers start going into the pits for those softs, probably around lap 17, lap 18 I'd say. So still quite a bit of time before they dive into those pits. You see the lap Ferrari car is just in the background there. He moves out the way for the cars who are actually trying to battle for the lead here. MX, I must not have noticed, but Easy Mac has gotten past MX as well. So that's MX down in P4. So Easy Mac, the leading car for the McLarens at the moment. I know Lindsay Games spun out a bit before. So McLaren's still in P3 and P6 at the moment, so they're still getting good points for the constructors. The Alpine weaving around back there, looking to make a move into that corner. He's not successful in doing so, but he's very close here. He's got the DRS wide open. Can he make a move onto J-Man into this turn 3 corner? Look how close they are, just following the exhaust pipe of J-Man there. The McLaren of Easy Mac is just behind the Alpine there. Can he also take advantage of this battle and get any moves done on these main straights? We got yellow flags going out. That's the Ferrari again who spun out. Let's see if Easy Mac can get anything done. Or let's see if Iceland Rhino can get anything done. He's even closer now to J-Man. Into this high-speed left-hander, you can get some beautiful overtakes done in here. But he doesn't see an opportunity going into that corner. Now the McLaren of Easy Mac is incredibly close behind. He sends it down the inside with the DRS going into this next corner, and he takes P2 from Iceland Rhino. Iceland Rhino now down into P3. What a battle we have between these top 3 drivers. Mind you, they all have the podium positions right now, so they do need to be careful, because if they do take each other out, that will be costly in terms of points for Season 2. What a start we've had to Season 2 of the Oceania Racing League. These drivers have been giving us an exciting show. On this first race in Melbourne, we got Easy Mac very close behind now from the Ferrari of J-Man. Easy Mac is going to try and go around the outside into that braking zone. They make a bit of contact there, but Easy Mac is possibly going to get that move done. Yes, he does get it done. He's into the lead. Easy Mac into the lead on lap 10 out of 29. Could the McLaren be taking the win today from J-Man? J-Man will be looking to get that back. What can he do now? He's 6 tenths behind. He needs to reduce that gap if he wants any chance of getting that lead back from Easy Mac. Iceland Rhino just hanging around in the background there, seeing if he can get anything done on J-Man and the Ferrari. If you look on the track map, we also have a battle between all the drivers in the midfield going on around the back there, as we have Iceland Rhino going around the outside of J-Man into this next corner. Will he get anything done? J-Man just trying to send it deep there, and J-Man gets touched, but he doesn't spin out, but he does lose a lot of time. I don't think there'll be any damage for J-Man, but that just has increased the gap a little bit between all those drivers. Let's go back. There's a Haas and Red Bull going really closely to that Haas there, but the Haas is ghosted. As we have, going back to this, our main battle going on at the moment. They all have decent gaps between them. Chunk ORL is trying to gain some positions here on that Red Bull. Actually, no, that Red Bull has been lapped, so he doesn't need to worry about that. Any other battles we have going on at the moment? Lots of cars spinning out. We got the Ferrari, the Haas, and that is Lex Dog, who has retired from the session on that main straight, in the beginning of that main straight. Will that be a safety car? That could spice up this race a little bit. Don't think it'll be a safety car because it's only one driver. You can see that Haas on the track map is moving, so I don't think it'll be a safety car, but the race control will let us know if we do get one. All the top 3 drivers now, you can see by that camera angle there, they've all built some good gaps between them, so Easy Mac will be very happy about that. And there's no DRS between them now, so it's just about pure pace. Let's jump back and see if we have any other battles going on. We got MX, who is trying to chase down Chunk there, as we got the lap Red Bull just trying to cause some chaos there, by the looks of it. We got Gordo trying to chase down the Aston Martin of F1 Twitch. But pretty decent gaps between all of the drivers now. J-Man going into the pit, surprisingly. He gets a 5-second penalty for speeding. He goes onto the hards. Looks like he's pitting early, going for an undercut on the other drivers, but most of the other drivers, I thought they would have swapped to softs later on in the race, but J-Man going on to the hards now. Let's see if that strategy works out for him, and how will Easy Mac and Iceland Rhino react to this strategy decision. Will they pit this lap? Or have they even noticed that J-Man's gone into the pits? We'll see when they come down that main straight there. We got MX very close behind J-Man. J-Man will have those cold tyres, and MX does have the tyre advantage, but those tyres could be getting quite old now if you look at the tyre age. Oh no, MX must have pitted recently. He's only 3-lap-old mediums, but he's very close behind J-Man. Will he get anything done on this straight here? They're so very close, but they do not make contact. MX trying to go round the outside there. They've battled before in this race. MX trying to... They're going nearly 3 wide there. You can see the Alfa Romeo of Chunk just back there in the background. And Chunk going wide there into the gravel. But he keeps it together and doesn't spin, but just lost a bunch of time there. That got very close between them all. I didn't even know what to say, and they nearly went 3 wide. As Gordo making the move on F1 Twitch there, as I mentioned before. Gordo up into P7, as Iceland Rhino and RB Peridin go into the pits. Iceland Rhino has put on hards like J-Man. That would have been a reaction to J-Man's strategy, but can J-Man now get past Iceland Rhino with that undercut? No, he doesn't. Iceland Rhino is still pretty far ahead, but now that J-Man's tyres are warmed up, maybe he will have the advantage over Iceland Rhino. MX must have already pitted because his tyres are only 3 laps old. Yeah, he has pitted. So you can see the bottom drivers and some of the midfield drivers have already pitted, but there are still quite a few drivers like Chunk, Gordo and F1 Twitch who are yet to pit. But again, it comes down to every driver when they feel comfortable pitting for new tyres. As you can see, MX following extremely closely behind Iceland Rhino there down that straight. He doesn't have DRS though, but he will have DRS on this next straight. Can he get anything done out of this chicane? Still too far back to make any moves there. He stays in P3, still in the podium places, but I don't know if those mediums will get him to the end though. So he will likely have to pit again, so I don't think MX will be getting a podium today unless he really does something good with his strategy or a safety car comes into play. You can see he's got the DRS wide open there, but still too far back to make any moves. There's RB Peridin, who's gone past Chunk as Chunk goes into the pits. F1 Twitch not going into the pits, but I know Gordo has gone into the pits as well. That was very close between them. You can see when Gordo and Chunk entering and exiting their pit lanes. Chunk coming out on those hards, and I believe Gordo will be coming out on hards as well. As we go back up to the front, MX still in P3, J-Man in P4. And will MX be making a move on the Alpine here? Down this straight, they nearly make contact. They're going side by side. The flashing light on that Red Bull means he's got no ERS left, no juice left. So it will be very tricky to make a move going into this chicane. The Alpine of Ice and Rhino just stays ahead, but the Red Bull's coming down inside now, going into this next corner. No ERS, but he has the DRS, and he makes that move, and they've made contact. Oh no, oh no. They've made contact. MX and Ice and Rhino have made contact on lap 14. Do they have damage? That's the question. Let's take a look at Ice and Rhino's front wing here. Doesn't look like he's damaged by the looks of it. What about MX? No, they both don't pit. I'm starting to question now whether damage is even turned on, because there's been lots of collisions, but nobody's been getting any damage, so they're very lucky with that. But that puts J-Man up into P2, which he'll be very pleased about. But Ice and Rhino still following close behind J-Man there. I'm sure a dispute will be filed after the race about that collision, because that could have been costly if they didn't get damage. Meanwhile, Temp making a move on Lindsay Games, and he has gone past the McLaren. Can Ice and Rhino get close enough to get any moves done? What's happening in Lindsay Games? Lindsay Games keeps on dropping back. Pro Game has gone past Lindsay Games, and I think Lindsay Games has spun. Not the first time this race. Hasn't been the best race for Lindsay Games. Lindsay Games down in 12th. But luckily, Lindsay's teammate, Easy Mac, and the other McLaren is leading the race at the moment. So there's still decent points for McLaren. Meanwhile, Ice and Rhino is still getting pretty close behind that Ferrari. Can he get any moves done? Just a bit too far back to get anything done, but you can see how close the gap is there. Maybe on this next main straight, the Alpine can put his car up into P2. DX Mond is also trying to get past Aston Martin of F1 Twitch and P5. Meanwhile, Easy Mac setting a fastest lap on those hards, and the Alpine going round the outside there into turn 1 on the Ferrari. Will he get the move done? No, he doesn't. He's still incredibly close behind. With the DRS wide open now, can he get anything done? You can see the Ferrari J-Man weaving all over the straight there, trying to play it defensive. It's very close between them. I don't know if they made contact, but J-Man just holds on to that lead. And F1 Twitch has gone into the pits a bit later than everyone else. So let's take a look at tyres again and see. Yeah, so most people going on to those hard tyres, nobody going on to the softs like I thought they would. And the only drivers who haven't pitted at the moment, let's take a look. Nope, every driver's pitted at the moment. RB Peridin up into P6, gained 9 positions since the start. It's been a great race for him so far. Ice and Rhino still just a bit too far back from J-Man, but J-Man doesn't have DRS though, so that gap will be closing pretty quickly by the looks of it. You can already see how close that gap is. The Alpine very close behind there, nearly going side by side on that final sector. Easy Mac is maintaining a comfortable lead with an 8-second gap, and he sets another fastest lap, 121.2, to give an even greater advantage. But they're going side by side now, the Alpine and the Ferrari, into turn 1. The Alpine's got the DRS. Can J-Man get anything done? And they make contact, and J-Man spins out. What has happened? Is J-Man out of the race? I don't know, but luckily I don't think damage is turned on, so no damage for J-Man. He can stay out and continue his race. I have no idea what happened there, but that puts J-Man down into P4 and MX back into the podium places. Can MX get anything done on the Alpine there? Really pushing that car hard. You can see there was a McLaren spinning out there, likely Lindsay Games. And the flashing light on that Alpine means there's no juice left in his battery, so he won't get that pace advantage over the Red Bull. And MX really cutting that corner there. He's got a 3-second penalty. He's done that many times before, so I'm not sure what's going on with him there, but he makes a move into this corner, down the inside, nice and cleanly, and grabs P2 from Ice and Rhino. But Ice and Rhino's fighting back. They go side by side. Ice and Rhino not sending it into that last corner, but maybe on the main straight, Ice and Rhino can grab P2 back from MX. But mind you, MX does have a 3-second penalty, so if Ice and Rhino just stays within 3 seconds, he could still maintain P2. Ice and Rhino can't be not close enough to make any moves there, but maybe he's close enough to make a move into this next braking zone. just staying behind there. Dr. DX Mond, let's see if he can chase down J-Man, because J-Man does have that penalty. As we move further back in the grid, lots of big gaps between these drivers. No real battles going on at the moment. So it's still right on board with Iceland Rhino. Just trying to chase down that Red Bull. It's been back and forth between all these top 3 drivers, so they're all probably very eager to get their original positions back and get back into those high grid positions or the podium places. J-Man just out of the podium places at the moment, so he's probably hoping something happens between these drivers. I do believe that Alpine there, that Alpine is Cayman. There's another driver spinning out there. That is the Mercedes of Alpha X. But no damage today. So that must have just been a problem with the lobby settings, but that does mean we probably won't get a safety car today because there's no damage. Iceland Rhino very close behind MX there. Going down this main straight, he's got the DRS wide open, but he's just a bit too far back to make any moves on. Temp and F1 Twitch switch positions. They're going side by side into the high-speed left-hander. Can the Aston Martin get anything done? They're going side by side. They do not want to make contact because they are teammates and they're both in the points at the moment. F1 Twitch going around the outside there. Temp down the inside. He maintains P9. But can F1 Twitch do something around the outside here? Very close between them. They're going side by side again in that final sector. They make contact. I can see that one of the drivers is on hards. F1 Twitch is on hards, I believe, and the other driver's on mediums. Yeah, so the other driver's on mediums, so they might have a pace advantage. I'm not too sure, but Temp goes down the inside into turn 1, and he maintains P9. But F1 Twitch will get the DRS now. Can he make something happen into this next corner? He sends it into that corner. Yes, he takes P9 back from Temp, but Temp will be looking to get that back. What a battle we've had between these teammates. I just flicked back, and luckily I caught them fighting it out for P9. No team orders here, just straight racing as MX and Iceland Rhino. Are they going side by side? Yes, they are. MX maintaining P2 as Temp takes P9 back. Lots of battles going on at the moment, and they're going side by side there into the high-speed left-hander. Temp is in P10 at the moment. He'll be looking to get that position back from F1 Twitch. It looks like he's just a bit too far back at the moment to get anything done, but he's gaining that distance very quickly, and they go side by side into this corner. Can he get anything done around the outside? Yes, he does. He grabs P9 back. What a battle we've seen between these drivers. Can they keep this up for the rest of the race? I don't know. I think they definitely do not want to take each other out as Temp goes wide there, but maintains P9, and F1 Twitch is just behind Temp. He will likely get P9 back going down this main straight with a DRS. Yes, he does. But can Temp swing it around the outside and grab that back? No, he can't. Meanwhile, Nuke getting past Lindsay Games. Lindsay Games currently running in 15th. Let's go back up to Iceland Rhino, who is still closely behind MX. I flicked back just earlier, and they were going side by side. But can Iceland Rhino get it done now? No, he can't. The Red Bull was weaving all over that straight there, trying to break that slipstream. But Iceland Rhino's even close now. He's got the DRS. Can he make any moves into the long braking zone here? Going round the outside. No, he can't. The Red Bull just sending it a bit, braking a bit later down the inside there. And the Red Bull maintains P2. The Alpine is very, very close behind. As I think if we go back to the Aston Martins, they are still battling it out. You can see they're nearly going side by side into that corner. F1 Twitch has maintained P9 there. We've got to keep on flicking between these drivers because they're constantly battling. Iceland Rhino, can he get anything done into the high-speed left-hander? That defense from MX across the whole entire race has just been great to watch. He's positioned his car perfectly to not lose that P2 position to the Alpine. Let's jump back to the Aston Martins here. one of them going around the outside. Not sure which one that is. Temp going around the outside, I mean to say. And Temp takes P9 back from F1 Twitch. And it does look like F1 Twitch is just a bit too far back now to get any moves done. Ice and Rhino trailing very closely behind MX. But still just a bit too far back. But he might be able to get something done on this next straight. Beautiful first corner and exit by the Alpine driver that has set him up perfectly for this main straight. But he has been playing, Ice and Rhino has been playing it wise all race. He hasn't been making any aggressive sends. But it's lap 22 out of 29. Eventually he will have to, and he goes, they were going side by side there. MX cutting the corner, they make contact. MX into the barrier. I was just talking about how Ice and Rhino wasn't playing it that aggressive the whole race, and they have just made contact. MX went into the barrier. I could see that he cut the corner. I'm pretty sure that was definitely MX's fault. He cut the corner into that high-speed right-hander, and that has built the gap to 7 seconds between Ice and Rhino and MX. So if these top two drivers can just keep it together, it'll be looking like it'll be a McLaren win today, followed by Ice and Rhino in P2. But that has put J-Man just a bit closer to MX after he spun out. So maybe J-Man can keep his pace up. He can close that gap and maybe take the podium place back. Let's take a look at penalties and see how they interfere with this battle at the moment. J-Man's got a 5-second penalty, so 2 seconds more than MX. So it will be incredibly hard to get that podium place back. As you can see, Temp has an 8-second gap to the car ahead now, and they were battling it out just before, so they must have either someone spun out and there's a collision, or or F1 Twitch has just been showing some incredible pace to build that gap to 8 seconds. We've got Alpha X getting the DRS on the car ahead on Pro Gamer. It does look like Pro Gamer's ghosted, so there won't be a battle going on there. As Shankar Rel comes into the pit lane, and if damage is off, then that just must be because of tyre wear. He should be going into the softs by the looks of it. There's a fresh pair of softs waiting for him. Looks like he's playing it aggressive with the strategy there. But that decision does make sense because F1 Twitch is 37 seconds behind, so he won't be losing any places for that pit stop. RB Peridin really close behind DX Mond up ahead there. Can he make any moves into the high-speed left chicane here? Seems to be just a bit too far back. But he will be getting DRS very, very soon down this straight here. Gordo getting a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And the AlphaTauri is just staying behind the Williams there, so nothing can be done. What has gone up here? I've completely missed this, but Ice and Rhino is into the lead. Easy Mac must have been spun out there. Meanwhile, the Aston Martins are still battling it out. So much going on in this race. That Aston Martin gap was at 8 seconds before, and now they're battling it out again. So they must have, one of them must have spun to get that back close together. As they go side by side down this straight here. What a battle we've seen from them all race. F1 Twitches, the car ahead. They're both Aston Martin drivers. They do not want to take each other out into this chicane. Temp round the outside. Temp into the lead. What a move from Temp. What a move into that high-speed chicane. He got that done perfectly. They're weaving all over the straight there, trying to break that DRS. Side by side into this corner as usual. And F1 Twitch is back into the lead. They've just been swapping places every lap of this race. But now, F1 Twitch going wide there onto the grass, and he gives the place back to Temp. Meanwhile, Easy Mac, we go up ahead. Easy Mac trying to make a move on Ice and Rhino for the lead here. As I mentioned before, Easy Mac must have dropped down to P2 because he must have spun out. But he's back into the lead, side by side with Ice and Rhino. Into turn 1 they go. Easy Mac gets the lead back from Ice and Rhino. What a move from him. Meanwhile, he also sets the fastest lap. You know what must have happened? I think he pitted for softs, because if you look at the tyres, he is on 2-lap-old softs. So he must have seen that his hard tyres were not performing as well and decided to pit for softs because he had that massive time advantage between P1 and P2. So now with those softs he will be looking to, you know, build that gap between Ice and Rhino. As we go back to Gordo, who has also pitted for softs, and Chunk is also pitted for softs. So lots of people going for 2 stops this race. It's very interesting because I would have just thought that most people would go for 1 stop. As we see the Aston Martins again, as usual, going side by side into this braking zone. Temp, the car in front, gets P9 from F1 Twitch. They're just back and forth. But K-Man, who's 7 seconds behind, if he was just a bit closer, he could have taken advantage of this battle, because I bet you they're losing a lot of time by battling it out every lap. Temp back into the Temp is in P9 at the moment, weaving all over that straight there. F1 Twitch around the outside with the DRS, and he gets moved on into turn 1. Probably one of the best battles we've had in Season 2 at the moment, because it is the first race of Season 2, but even at round 10, I think we'll all still look back at this battle as one of the best battles we've had of the whole season. You can see they're all ghosted there for some reason, I'm not quite sure why. RB Peridin still is close behind DX Mond as, like before, going a bit wide there, but he does have the DRS. Can he make anything happen into this corner? No, he doesn't. There's a Ferrari who spun out there. TD Morris, I believe. Gordo setting the fastest lap on those softs. And RB Peridin is very close behind that Williams now. Going a bit wide there, but no penalty for him at the moment. There's no DRS on this next straight here, but after that high-speed chicane, he will be getting DRS, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get anything done. But he might not need DRS, because he's going side by side with the Williams now. Just behind the Williams. He's so incredibly close. He has his light flashing, so no ERS for him. But he will get the DRS now. He's gotten the better exit of the Williams. You can see the Williams just speeding ahead there. He would have deployed his ERS, so that means that AlphaTauri can't make any moves into this next corner. F1 Twitch still close behind Temp, coming down into turn 1. Can F1 Twitch get anything done? That's Temp nearly losing his card there in that corner 2. And F1 Twitch is currently running in P10 at the moment. RB Peridin ran a 4/10 gap between DX Mond and himself. As the Aston Martins go side by side, who's going to get the better outcome of this battle? F1 Twitch into P9. What a move by F1 Twitch. And they're still battling. Aston Martins side by side. Here they go. Down into the high-speed left-hander. You got Chunkarel just ahead. I don't know how he dropped back so far, but Chunkarel is right there in this battle. If the Aston Martins just decide... And that's Chunkarel spinning out. Oh, no, what's happened? I was about to say, if the Aston Martins can somehow stop battling and try and get Chunkarel, they can move up a place, but they don't need to do that because Chunkarel's spun out. Or he might have been hit. And is he beached? It does look like he's beached. No, he hasn't. He's reset to track. Don't know if he's... Pretty sure he's not allowed to do that. That might be a penalty after the race. But we will see if he can recover his race. He's still in P10 with the running in the points at the moment. Let's flick back to these Aston Martins. Alpha X getting a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. As the Aston Martins nearly make contact, you can just see how close they were there. Temp is just behind F1 Twitch. We're on the second last lap here. Lap 28 out of 29 for these drivers. You can see as the laps draw to the close, as the race draws to a close, they're going to get more and more aggressive. Temp goes back into the lead of the two Aston Martins, back into P8. And this seems to be the only battle we have going on at the moment between all the drivers. It does look like early in the race J-Man took P3 back from MX. I just must have missed that. But as the Aston Martins go side by side into the high-speed left-hander, who's going to get the better outcome as usual? It's F1 Twitch maintaining P8. Can Temp get a move done? They're both drained their ERS batteries. He sends it down into this corner. Can he get the move done though? F1 Twitch maintaining P8 because he went around the outside there. That was great defending for F1 Twitch and a great move to maintain P8. They're going to be starting their final lap now. coming down the main straight. This is going to be one of their last opportunities to battle. Let's see who can get the better outcome of this entire battle they've had this entire race. Temp going a bit wide there on the grass, they nearly make contact. Temp nearly touched F1 Twitch's back left high there as they come into the last corner. He doesn't send it, but there is still another opportunity to get past on the next DRS straight. They're running P8 and P9 at the moment. So they're both gotten points, so they don't want to take each other out. Temp will be trying to get past. He doesn't have DRS, but if he can just squeeze the last bit of energy out of his battery, maybe he can get a move done before the DRS. F1 Twitch currently P8. Will he maintain P8 until the end of the race? They go side by side into the high-speed corner. F1 Twitch on the outside. Temp on the outside. Temp goes wide, and that's put F1 Twitch into the lead as we jump back to Easy Mac coming around the final corner now. What a race by Easy Mac. What a race by everyone today. We've had some great battles. Easy Mac is going to take the win. The checkered flag is out, and that's Easy Mac for the win. Iceland Rhino. What a race we've seen from Iceland Rhino. Weaving down the main straight in celebration of his P2 podium place. J-Man also coming around the final corner now in the Ferrari. It's been a great race by J-Man to take P3 and the last podium place. What a race by all of them. MX, it's been probably a pretty controversial race from him with all that corner cutting and collisions, but he does get P4. DX Mond and RB Peridon, they were battling at one stage, but DX Mond maintained that P5 and he finishes the race in P5 for Williams. Good result for Williams today. Gordo coming around the final sector now, going a bit wide there, but he will getting P7 for the Haas, the only Haas today to score points after the other driver got disqualified, or the other driver retired. Both Aston Martins. Oh, everyone's done now. That is the race over. What a race we had today, guys. We had a bit of a delay in the start getting it started, but it was definitely worth the wait for this. RB Peridon getting the driver of the day, because RB Peridon had a great race today. He gained lots of positions in the first couple laps, so he definitely deserves that driver of the day. And now for Season 2 of the Oceania Racing League, you do actually get a point for fastest lap of the race, so I forgot who got that, but they will be getting an extra point if they were in the top 10. What a race between Iceland Rhino, J-Man and Easy Mac. The first couple laps were very entertaining, but that battle we had between the top 4 drivers there with the MX2, that was very exciting to watch, and the Aston Martins near the end of the race who were battling it out but unfortunately collided on the last lap. What a race we had from them. The first race of Division 2, Season 2, Oceania Racing League. We got 9 more to go before the season finale in Abu Dhabi. We've had a great start to the season, and we got the Div 1 race later today at 5 PM AEDT. So make sure you tune in for that race. It'll be live streamed on this YouTube channel as usual, and we'll have hopefully 20 drivers racing in that. So again, thank you for tuning in today to today's race, and remember to tune in for the Div 1 race later today. Thank you guys, and I'll see you later today at 5 PM.